You've heard it a million times, right? Hey, runners should lift weights. But what does that really mean? Today, we're going to cut right through all the chatter and the vague advice. We are going to build a case using cold, hard data to show you why strength training isn't just a nice to have. It is absolutely essential if you want to unlock your true running potential.
So let's be real. What do we all want as runners? It really just comes down to two simple things, doesn't it? We want to get faster, and we want to stay healthy enough to actually enjoy it. So the billion-dollar question is, can one thing, one type of training, actually hit both of those targets? Well, the data we're about to dive into points to a pretty emphatic yes.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the big problem every runner faces. Then we'll dive headfirst into the numbers on performance and injury risk. And finally, we'll get into the cool science of how your body actually changes. Okay, first things first. Let's frame the central challenge here, something I like to call the runner's performance paradox. I'm sure this will sound familiar. You know the drill. You want to nail that new PR. So you up your mileage, you add in more speed work, but what happens? That exact same training load that's supposed to make you better is what leads to shin splints or runner's knee or some other nagging injury. It's this crazy, frustrating loop where the quest for improvement is the very thing that takes you out of the game. We need to find a way to break that cycle. So how do we break out of that loop? Well, it starts by looking at the hard evidence. And this first piece is all about getting faster without just piling on more junk miles. It's about making your engine way more efficient. First, we got to get on the same page with a huge concept called running economy. The easiest way to think about it is like fuel efficiency in a car. Imagine two runners who have the exact same max engine size. Their VO2 max is identical. The runner with the better economy is going to be faster every single time. Why? Because they're burning less fuel to hold the same pace. It's a massive, massive advantage. So what kind of improvement are we talking about here? Well, study after study shows that adding a solid strength routine can boost a runner's economy by 2 to 8%. Now, I know that might not sound like a huge number on paper, but trust me, over the course of a 10K or a marathon, that is absolutely the difference between a good race and an unforgettable PR. Let's not just talk about it. Let's look at the raw numbers from a specific study. Zero in with me on that middle row for the complex training group. Before they started, running at 14 kilometers an hour cost them almost 55 milliliters of oxygen. Now look at the post column. That number plummeted all the way down to about 46. That's a huge drop. So what does that drop from 55 to 46 really mean? It means they saw a 16% improvement in their running economy at that speed. That is a massive gain in efficiency. This isn't just a feeling of being stronger. It's a hard, physiological change that lets them run faster while burning less energy. Okay, so that's the speed part of the equation. We're more efficient. We're faster. But what about the other side of that paradox we talked about, staying off the sidelines? Let's see what the numbers have to say about that. Now get ready for this number, because it is a game changer. 50%. A massive meta-analysis, that's a study of studies, found that a proper strength training program can cut overuse injuries by almost half. Just let that sink in for a second. The chance of getting that nagging IT band pain or shin splints slashed in half. And just so we're clear, these conclusions aren't coming from some tiny study done on 10 college students. Look at the scale we're talking about here. This one analysis, which looked specifically at hamstring injuries, included data from nearly 8,500 athletes. That gives us an incredible amount of confidence in the results. So what was the big takeaway from looking at all those thousands of athletes? It's incredibly specific. They found that certain exercises, specifically eccentric ones, where the muscle is working while it lengthens, cut the rate of hamstring injuries by, you guessed it, 50%. You can't draw a clearer line than that. Do this kind of work, and you get this massive protective benefit. All right, so we've firmly established the what. You get faster, and you get way more resilient. So now for the really cool part. How does this all work? What is actually happening inside your body that makes all these good things happen? It really boils down to two types of changes. On the right, you've got morphological changes. That's what most people think of with lifting. Your muscles get bigger. But for runners, the real secret sauce is on the left. Neuromuscular adaptations. This is all about your brain getting much, much better at talking to your muscles. It's like upgrading your body's operating system. The signals are faster, you're more coordinated, and you learn to recruit muscle fibers more effectively. You get stronger without necessarily getting bigger. And of course, we've got the data to prove it. Check this out. This table tracked athletes over just 6 weeks. Look at that middle column, wavelet power. That's a measure of how efficient the muscle firing is, and for this, lower is better. It drops from 1.35 all the way to 0.98. And at the exact same time, look at the coordination score on the right. It skyrockets from 71% to over 92%. This is a perfect snapshot of your nervous system literally getting smarter.
And the benefits go deeper than just your muscles and nerves. Think about all the cables and springs in your body, your tendons, your ligaments. The load from strength training stimulates them to produce more collagen. This literally makes them thicker, stronger, and more resistant to tearing. They become better at handling the forces of running and transmitting power from your muscles to your bones. And that brings us to the final and maybe most overlooked piece of this entire puzzle. We're talking about the very foundation that everything else is built on, your skeleton. Now, a lot of people think the impact of running is enough for strong bones. And while it helps, the scientific literature is pretty clear about what's best. This quote from a major research review says it all. When it comes to building and maintaining bone density, resistance exercise is, and I'm quoting here, the most promising intervention. And this isn't just a theory. The mechanical load from lifting is a direct signal to your bone-building cells, your osteoblasts, to get to work. And the results are totally measurable. We see studies showing significant gains in bone density in women and increased femur strength in men. You are literally building a more robust, break-resistant frame to run on from the inside out. So let's just zoom out for a second and put it all together. The data is just undeniable. Strength training measurably improves your efficiency, which directly translates to speed. The numbers show, plain as day, that it can cut your risk of overuse injuries in half. And it creates positive changes in every system, from your nerves and muscles to your tendons and bones. For a runner, this isn't just cross-training, it is a foundational, data-backed strategy for both performance now and longevity for years to come. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. When you look at all the evidence we just went through, the hard numbers on performance, the dramatic stats on injury reduction, you really have to ask yourself, is there any other non-running activity that provides a bigger, more proven benefit? Based on the data, the answer seems pretty clear.